As the holiday shopping season is upon us, stores are already preparing for what's going to be their busiest time of the year. Judith McGuire, Senior Vice President, Global Products at Discover Global Network, joins us to offer tips to protect against fraud and ensure a safe and effective checkout experience. Thank you so very much for joining us today. So what are you hearing from merchants when it comes to holiday shopping?
Well, at Discover, we do work closely with merchants to better understand how we can help them serve their customers. And we recently conducted a study with 451 Research, and we talked to merchants and consumers to actually find out what's important to them as we go into this holiday season, and we're all making a lot more purchases. What we learned is it really does come down to payment security. Consumers want to know that when they're making purchases, it's a safe and secure transaction. The second thing we found out is that consumers, they want to make sure that the payment preference that they have, the card that's in their wallet, is accepted at the merchants where they're shopping. So it really comes down to security and choices.
So, Judith, there are several ways shoppers can check out these days, including using their mobile phones. So what should store owners keep in mind to make the checkout process convenient for customers?
Well, you absolutely hit it. There are a lot of options, and the most important thing for a merchant to think about is making sure that they are making those options available for cardholders. So 99% of merchants that take cards are taking Discover at this point, and that's why. They know that they need to make every option available to their consumers. And when we talked in our study to merchants, the thing that's the most important to them as they go into this holiday season is really making more secure digital payment options available for their customers. Similarly, when we talked to cardholders, they told us that that's the most important thing for them is making sure that their payment preferences are honored at that merchant.
Okay, so how can consumers protect themselves against fraud this holiday season?
Well, they should be sensitive to fraud. That certainly should be something that they're aware of and thinking about as they make purchases both online and in store. The good news is, we've done a lot as an industry to secure in-store payments over the past, I would say decade, with the beginning with chip cards. But there are some great options for consumers to use now, both in-store and online. I would say digital wallets are an important option for consumers to think about. They have extra layers of security that we've built in, both in terms of additional authentication, and if you've used these wallets before, you've probably experienced it, where you might, authenticate yourself with a fingerprint or other biometric methodologies, or sometimes maybe even a one-time password. So we're making sure that the person with that phone and using that credential that's lodged in the phone is actually the person that was issued that payment credential. So that extra layer of security is an important one that consumers can leverage when they're using digital wallets.
Okay, well, let's shift over to store owners. How can they create a safe checkout experience for their customers?
Well, I think, again, we have a good news story in that the point of sale has been, we have done a lot to secure those transactions with the advent of chip cards and, contactless payments where you get to tap at the terminal. Both very secure ways of paying. But that said, merchants should always make sure that their terminals are in proper working order. Unfortunately, now we've seen a lot of fraud move online. And so I would advise merchants to make sure that they are availing themselves of all tools that their processor may have to secure those transactions online. One important thing that we're seeing more and more is the use of additional authentication. It might be a one-time password that gets texted to the cardholder or emailed to make sure that, once again, that cardholder is who they say they are. Interestingly, we found out in our research that 7 out of 10 consumers are okay with using those methodologies. So if a merchant is a little worried about adding those extra steps to the checkout portion of the transaction, the research tells us that consumers, they want to secure their transactions and their credentials, so they're willing to go to those extra steps to make sure that it's a safe payment.
I know that I certainly will absolutely take an extra step or two to make sure that my payment is secure. There's fraud everywhere. So, hey, Judith, before I let you go, where can I send our viewers for some more information?
Yeah, so a lot more detail from our research study is available at the Insights Hub on discoverglobalnetwork.com. So I would encourage your listeners to try it out and see what other information they can find to help make sure that they have a safe and successful holiday shopping season.
Judith, thank you so very much for your time this morning. It's been a fascinating conversation. And guys, if you want to check out this segment again or others like it, head over to First Coast News Plus.